Okay, so I'll go back to what I covered. So last week we covered lists and I explained elements in the list and how to use index to capture the elements in the list. And we use an example SOM 19 underscore SOM underscore 19 underscore list. We capture the last elements, which falls under index 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We pass in the 4 and we capture Daniel. Assuming we want to capture the first element in this list, we pass in 0, like I said. Index starts from 0. That's for positive index. Don't forget positive index. If I pass in 0 here, we'll capture Ngozi here. I went further to explain
Jide, sorry, quick one, sorry. Please, everyone, I've just put in the file in the chat. It's called notwin.back. If you can please download that on your laptop, and then I will take you through how to do the installation next week. Okay? Thank you. Yeah, Jide, back to you. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And now, so for the negative index, I explained that negative index starts with -1. Then you can go back as -2, then back as -3, then back as -4. But if you want to grab the last element on the list, you use -1. And I showed you an example that will capture Daniel also, because in this case, Daniel is the last element on that list. Let me run this again. Can you see? Negative. We're passing that -1, -1, and we're able to get Daniel at the same time. That is negative index. If I pass in -2, I will get what? Jide, -3, John, -4, Adamu, -5, this. So that's how to use negative. So in some situation, when it comes to data transformation, you could be using positive index or negative index based on your own discretion, based on what you want to deal with. That is where the aspect of logical reasoning is very, very important. And I gave an example here by saying, okay, we have this file, but we want to capture this part of the file, this, I pass it in as a string, and I say, okay, this is the file name. I copied the file from the file path from here. I showed you an example here from content California underscore housing. I copy this path if you remember, and could do that for other files also. If you want, I can go for this one also and copy it. And let me just do, I will hide this one here for now. And because, you know, I'm commenting this out. So because of that, the code will not run. That is the essence of using this hash. So if you pass in hash in front of any code, the code will not run. So it's only this part that will run now. So I was like, okay, how do I now grab this? Because I'm interested in grabbing, let me say, the negative index, the last element on the list. I went further. I apply something called split in Python. So split helps you to split some should I say a string to elements. So it helps you to turn a string to a list. So when you pass in a split, it will turn that, you know, wherever you have maybe in terms of string here in this case, and you pass in the variable name. When you pass in, it will divide it, it will split it just like you are splitting something. By this, you remember we passing this into the split. Slash, so it will split it by slash, by slash, by slash, by slash. Okay, there's no slash here, so it won't split this. So it's going to split it by here, and that's where we have this one. We have this one. We have this one, sample data, right? Then we have content. And before content, remember we have slash here, so this one will be empty. And that was how we got the empty here, showing that, okay, when we split this, we still have empty string here. Then when we split this, we have content. When we pass in this string, we have a split slash split sign, we have simple sample data, and we have this. And from here, we can capture our last element on that list using negative index. Okay. I think because of this sign here, let me pass in the sign out. And you can see there. So let me break it down so that I won't make things complicated for you. So let's run this. This is the solution here. If we go to the next stage, you can as well copy this particular code, or we could say that file, let's say new list, I can call it new list equals to file underscore this, file underscore ls.split. Then I can say, okay, then let's do new underscore list. Then let's pass in -1. So we can print them separately. So 1 second, I can do print so that you can see what is happening there. We have new underscore list. For those people that are getting familiar with Python, I'm just trying to make sure that you understand it clearly so that you can start building on whatever I'll be covering here. So here we have, so if I print, it's not necessary you put print here. For Google Colab, it will allow you to, to run this successfully without using a print. So can you see we've got all the elements listed here? And if I want to capture the last element on the list, what did I say? Negative index. I can run this and I will grab this. If I want to grab the first element, let's pass in 0. What's the first element in this case? What's the first element in the list here?
The first element here is the empty one.
Empty, thank you. Empty. So let's run it. Do we have empty? Can you see? It's captured as empty. If I pass in 1 now, I'll get contents. Can you see? If I pass in 2, I'll get sample. If I so now let's say I want to use negative index. We've tried -1, right? Dash -1. So let's do -2. -2, we grab what? Sample data for us. So you can use it vice versa. You can use positive index or negative index. But in most cases, when it comes to grabbing data path, especially the name, and there's a reason why we do this, is majorly, let's say, for example, we want to create a file that we want that name to appear there. So we would like to split that data and grab this particular name and, have it as a specific column in your data. So we do that a lot when it comes to data transformation. That will help you to identify the file you're dealing with. So that's an example. I think we'll be covering this later, but as we're going on, you will understand clearly why we are doing all this. So I've given you one example. This is one example why we are doing this, so that you understand how to apply, how to grab elements in the list using index. Now let's go to the next path. We've got here, I have an example here, SOM underscore list. SOM underscore list, we've got our elements in the list. And if we print this one, we have this. And we can check the type. The type also. Let me do the, let me see. Okay, so 1 second. Okay. Oh, okay, okay. I understand the reason. So let's take this one off for now. Let's leave that one. So if you look at this clearly, you will see that we're getting SOM underscore list, and the list is here. So now let's say we want to grab the second element in the list. The second element in the list. second element in the list. 1 second.
I have a question.
Just give me 1 second. 1 second. Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
Okay. I would like to know if slicing is the same thing as splitting, just the way you said.
No, they are completely different. We're going to cover slicing later.
Okay.
We just starting gradually.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be covering that. We'll be covering slicing. So I will explain that part of slicing later. So now, so in the list, if you can see now, I've given an example here. Here we have this, and we can print this, and we're capturing this second element in that list, which is -3, and we can run it. If I grab the first element, which is 0, remember index 0, pass it in, it will give you 2. Pass in 1, -3. If I pass in index 2, 2 is going to give me what? Can someone tell me the answer?
0.
0, thank you. So it's going to give me 0. If I pass in 3, it's going to give me what? 4.
4.
So that's how it works. And if you see here, there's another thing we can do. In the case, let's say we want to create additional, we want to add elements to that particular list, an existing list. So we can just do here, like for example, this one that we have SOM_list, I can just pass in index the positioning of that particular element and pass in the value. So let's check this. If we refresh this, can you see 6 has been passed? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So can you see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4? So it's been passed in here. So if I want to pass additional elements, I can go further to say, okay, I'll copy this just to save me time. I'll do, let's say 5, element 5. Let me call this 22 or 222. Let me run it. Okay. SOM list. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, it's giving me, okay, it's saying out of range. Let me do, oh, okay, we're replacing the elements in that list rather, sorry. So if you see this one now, I've passed this one in, and if I, what it's trying to do is that we're going for element 4 and we're replacing it by this. And if I go on and I run SOM_list there, you will see the result. The result is showing this. So because we are replacing the element 6 to as what? As 222. So we're doing replacement. And in this case, we can also do this. If we want to do replacement for this, we can do that. We're going to replace, we can replace this one by negative index, pass negative index, put it in, and it will still give us a result because that's the last element on that list. And if I run that, you will see it has been replaced by 10. So the positioning of 4 as index in positive index is same as my -1 in negative index. So we are replacing that. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Is that clear?
Yes, clear.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
it's
Yes,
just
sir.
a question. I've just been wondering why. At what point would you want to? Well, at what point do you use the negative index?
Yes,
I was just wondering.
like I said, it depends on the situation you find yourself when it comes to data transformation. Like I gave you an example here. I said, let's say, for example, we are interested in this particular part of data. Can you see? We're interested in this particular part of data. How do we know what to do? In this case, we are using what? We use what? Negative index. Because negative index is perfect in this situation. Imagine we have, look at it this way. Let's say I have another file part here. and it's like this, and I want to use positive index, I'm going to miss something here. Because if I do the splitting of this now, okay, if I do the splitting of this, if I follow positive index, is going to be different completely, right? Let's say I want to choose, let's say you have several files in a file like this. CSV, 1 second, let me show you. Let me show you an example here. I might have to, okay, let's see. Can you see another file path, right? Now let's say we want to combine all these file paths. Let's make them as list. Okay, let's make them as list. And let's make this one this. So this is a list, right? So if you look at this, is a okay, saying that I'm missing something. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there you go. Can you see? So this is a list, right? Now, this list, let me go to the next line. If you look at this list, you will see what I'm trying to say so that you understand why. So this list, if I print it, I'm going to get this, right? Now, let's say I want to split this list. There's something called for loop, which I will cover later. You see, we've got different file paths. We have these in housing underscore test.csv, this. And we want to grab the last, we want to select by, let's say, for example, we want to select by position, a positive index. Let's say 0. If we do the splitting, 0, 1, 2, 3, right? Okay, let's follow that path. Now let me now go to the next line. Let's say there's something called for loop. You are trying to go through something one after the other. For loops helps you to do automation of, instead of you doing something manual in a manual way, it helps you to automate the process. So if I do for, let's say who asked that question? What's your name, please?
Constance.
Sorry?
Constance.
Constance. Okay, for Constance, sorry, just want
That's
to
okay.
use this one as an example.
Mhm.
So for Constance, in file name, let's print Constance. Let's print Constance. So if we print Constance, let's see what we have. Can you see? For this is Constance, right? So let's apply the split here, and let's see what we have in this case. Okay, so you're saying, okay, sorry. Okay. So can that, okay.
We can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me?
No, we can't hear a sound.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Yes, sir.
can hear
We've not
you.
heard anything for the past like 1 minute plus
Oh
now.
my word. Let
So
me go back. Sorry. Yeah, I was trying to mute somebody. But okay. Yeah,
oh,
yeah, because I was hearing some background sound. So yeah, now let me go back. Like constants, okay. For constants now, I said for constants in phi underscore ls, print. If we print this, we have our list here. We have file paths here, and we want to print it. We have them here. So I want to loop through. Did I explain this part of loop?
No, we didn't hear
No,
you.
No, we didn't hear
No,
you.
we didn't.
Okay. So now I said I would like to loop this particular file so that we can go through all the elements in the list. So I now say I use the name constants, right? In file underscore ls print constant. And we printed this and we have the list. Everything has been turned around using this split function, right? Can you see it? And if you look at this, like Constant said, when are we going to know? How do we know when to use positive index or negative index? Okay, let's go for the positive index in this case. Let's say we want to grab California underscore housing underscore test.csv. Now we have, we want to grab that. Let's pass in, okay, let's say we want to grab, let's start with the index 012. Let's say we are considering this one first. Let's pass in 2. If we pass in 2 in this case, let's see our result. Can you see our result? What do we have? Can you see now? We are interested, don't forget we are interested in CSV, but we're not grabbing it. We're not getting it. We're only grabbing one of them, one of the 3. So 3-year path. So now, how do we deal with that? That is the logic. In the first class I mentioned, Uncle Yinka also mentioned that your understanding, for you to be a better data engineer, it requires you to be able to think logically, and that is what we are seeing now. In this case, we are interested in grabbing everything that has got .csv. How do we deal with that? We just pass in negative index, and if we do this, what do you see? We've got all of them listed here. Does that make sense? So that gives you an idea on how to apply positive index, when to apply negative index. Am I clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So now that I've answered Constance's question, if Constance, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
So,
did I answer your question clearly?
I'm still trying to understand, I'm trying to have an idea, what's the right word? I'm trying to actually understand exactly what you've done here. From my understanding, what I'm seeing here is that you've basically named the file underscore else as constants. That's my understanding, yes. So you've named this file as constants and you've printed out this result using constants.split. Is that what? Is my
Okay.
understanding right, please?
Okay, yeah. Let me explain to you. Imagine
Okay.
you have 1 million oranges, right? When it comes to Python, we've been talking about automation.
Yes.
Okay, for example, let's say for those that are working if you have worked in Amazon, shipping, the logistics side of things, you will see our robots are, packing products, right? You see them, you see products coming, and everybody is trying to separate all of them, right? All the products, this label, go this, right? If I'm correct, for those that with that experience, now you will discover that you're trying to separate it, separate it, to different, depending on what you want. So what this is doing is that instead of us trying to transform this data only, we are doing it dynamically. We are checking this. We are checking this at the same time, and we're also checking this at the same time. So instead of us to say, remember the example I gave here? Remember the example I gave here? I only gave one before. And when you ask that question, that how do we know when to use a negative index and a positive index? And I mentioned that, okay, let's say, for example, in the case of for loop, look at these elements. Look at this. When we do, okay, 1 second, give me 1 second. I think I'll make it more clear. You understand clearly now. Let's split this.
Brajide.
Let's.
Hello, Brajide.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, quick one, please. Before you go on.
Okay.
Can Oluwatomi, Amida, and Adeboye Damilola send me a quick WhatsApp right now so I can add them? I can't find them on the list. The only one I found was Daniel Damilola. Is that the same person? So if they could hear me, let them send me a quick WhatsApp on the school phone so I can add them to the group right now, please. I've added the other people. I'm just 2 left.
Excuse me, sir. Sorry, how can we get the school phone, sir?
School phone number is on our website, please.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. I'll be waiting for it maybe in the next half an hour, please. So I could just do that and take that away. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I've been added. Thank you.
Okay, Brajide, thanks. I'm going off it.
Okay, sir. Yeah, so let's say, Constant, do you have any programming experience before?
No, I don't.
Okay, I understand. Okay, let me just go a bit slow. Yeah, 1 second.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So now let's say, for example, look at this data, FLS1. FLS2. Can you see they are all different, right? So I'm trying to separate them so that you understand. I don't want to be doing them one after the other. That was why I used for I'm looping it. So let's say this is FL5 underscore LS2. File underscore LS3. Look at this file. Can you see I'm working on them differently, which is not necessary for us to work on. Why can't we automate it? You understand? So in this case now, I will be doing file LX1, right? Let's say 2. Let's say index 2. If I press index 2 for this, okay. Let's do, okay, file S1, file index 2. So we have file LS1, right? File LS2, 2, and we have file underscore LS3, and we pass in the 2 also. Okay. So we have this. Now, based on what Constance said, let's say we want to run this. We want to split, we need to do the split. Like I said, we have to apply the split, right? To split it so that we can grab wherever we have there. Let me do by. Did I make any mistake? Okay. Okay, something is wrong somewhere. Okay, sorry. second. Okay, good. So there's the situation here, but I'll just find a way around. Seconds. We did that before, so I worked. So don't know why it's giving me this, but let me go back here. Let's do this and let's do phi underscore list one. Okay, so we can print that. So if we do phi underscore list one, okay, list one dot split. Okay. Okay, sorry. Dot split. So if we have that, let's see what we have. So it's still throwing me error. Okay, we did that here. Okay, anyway. Let's see, n equals to still don't know why it's giving me the error, but it's strange actually. So, but you know, we did it here. We remember we cover it here, and I showed the example. I showed you an example of how to apply split. I did phi underscore ls directly, so that should work normally. But you know, maybe because of the environment error. But while we're doing that, 1 second. Okay, I know the reason.
Okay.
Sorry,
Do we-
I know the reason. Sorry, I
Okay.
know the reason. Now I figure the reason because of you know, I pass in as a list. So let's pass it as normal. So this should work now. Fine, that's fine now. That works. So now if I print this now, if I print NN, you will see NN here. Oops, NNN rather. Oh, NNN. So if you look at that, can you see? Now let's say I want to grab number 2, or I want to grab this in terms of position, sample, right? That's 0, 1, 2. Let me do 2 here, right? If I do that, can you see it's giving me sample data? And what's the position of the sample data is 0, 1, 2, right? Now let's go for the order for others, one after the other. Let's do one after the other. Let's apply the same principle. If we run this and we do the same split, right? Let's do split 2, right? And I do split and let me say NNN2 in this case, and I want to select position 2, right? And if I run this and I try to capture that NNN2, if I print that, I'm getting CSV. Can you see? But in this case, it's sample data. In this case, it's CSV. We are not interested in grabbing sample data. We are interested in this. Let's say we are interested in this CSV part. That means in this case, positive index will not work. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Is it making sense now? Because we are interested in, let's say we're interested in CSV, but if you look at the position, you want to use positive index, this 0, 1, 2. If you pass it for the first one, for a particular one, it's going to give you CSV. If we do it for this other one, it's going to give us sample data again. So in this case, positive index will not work. So the best thing to do in this case is passing negative index to get the CSV part. If we pass in negative index now, let's see what we have here, and let's see what we have here. Can you see? So that is just for you to think in a logical way. So what I did there before, you know, yeah, I was doing it one after the, I was doing this file one after the other. I was working on it one after the other. In order to save us that time, because when it comes to data engineering, all you are thinking about is to improve your code, is to make sure you make things more faster. See the time we have spent in doing this now, it's taking us ages. Why can't we, to save us time, why can't we go here, passing the same file here as a list? You understand? Instead, so that it will save us time, instead of doing it one after the other, pass it in here as a list, right? And loop through it And that was when I used for constants. For constants means for each element in that list.
I don't know.
Does that
Okay,
make sense now?
cool. Yeah, I get you now. Cheers. Thank you.
So that will save us time instead of thinking about, imagine, I was talking about Amazon the other time. Imagine you are selecting something and you have robots trying to separate it in a faster way so that you can quickly deliver as fast as possible compared to like last week I gave an example of division of labor, right? One person is doing one work and another we have 10 people doing it, so they can do it more faster within 1 day instead of 30 days if one person is doing the same work. So the same thing applies to Python. So in Python, we try to automate the whole process. And for us to automate the whole process, we use something called for loop. I'll be covering that. And in that case, if we follow this, we just do for these elements in fs file underscore ls1 for these elements in file underscore ls1 again. And for these elements, it's looping through them. That's index 0, index 1, index 2. That was why we covered the index. So it's saying for index 0 in here in this file, print. For index 1, elements in index elements in position index 1, print this. Elements in position index 2, print this. So what this loop is doing is going through 0, 1, 2, 3. You understand? By index. So it's looping through them one after the other and it's doing this something. Can you see? So instead of us doing it manually one after the other, we just loop through, passing the negative index, and we capture everything once at the same time. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
But it's a bit weird. Sorry, 1 minute. It's just a bit weird here where you've named the constants as file underscore S1 and you're printing it out and it's still giving us the same figure. I was thinking that we're supposed to get an error because of the name there.
Maybe the record is being saved somewhere. Let me build it again. Okay. I think it's keeping it in memory. So let me run it again, like you said. So it's going to work. Can you see it threw error the other time? So now it's perfect.
Yeah, cool.
It's back to normal now. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So now, I've covered a lot. You will see this a lot when you are doing data engineering work, especially when you're using Python. If you're doing data analytics, in analytics also you'll be doing this in data engineering. So even if you are working as a data analyst, you might be doing data engineering work. If you are doing data engineering work, they are combined together. They are interrelated. There is no difference between the two. So you have to understand this clearly. So if you are now dealing with well-structured data, so in this case, you understand transformation of the data and how to deal with a structured, well-structured data.
Can I ask a question, please?
Okay.
Okay. So at the moment, I work as a data analyst, but I don't use SQL. Yeah. So we tend to I work with CRM. So we have our data in the CRM, and sometimes we have challenges where we have supporters that have maybe they fill their data before now, like they have their name, their phone number, and all that on the system.
Yeah.
And they now register again. So now we have two data, but sometimes you have a situation where they feel like not complete data. Maybe they have two data on the system. The system has generated different supporter IDs for them. But in now a situation, we're trying to merge this supporter. And sometimes when you use their name to search on the CRM, it doesn't give us that information. But you have people in the integration teams that tend to use, I don't know what they do. So my question now is, in that situation where you're trying to get these data together, find the supporter that have the same information, but basically missing some data, but they've got two IDs here. In this situation, say you're going to SQL to pull those data together, how do you pull those information to be able to get this supporter that have this data in two different areas? I don't know if my question makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, do they have their name? Sorry, do they have their name assigned to?
So basically, sometimes we have situations where, example, we have somebody called Daniel Smith. first information on the database, we have that person as Daniel Smith. And for some reason, the person has re-registered again, and now we have them as D Smith. But in this situation, they haven't filled all their data. So they put like dsmith@gmail.com. And we know that this person has the same email, but now the person hasn't put all their like address and all that. So in the situation now, the system has generated another supporter ID for them. So we have the same supporter with two IDs, but one is incorrect in the sense that they don't have a full data, like their data is not correct.
Yeah, it's a bit complicated because I would have said that that would be a situation solution, because number one, we've already said they have different ID. Number one.
Jide, let me come in if you don't mind.
Yes.
Yeah, this is part of what is in SQL, that is data cleansing you need to do. And there is a Windows function which is called, you can either use row ID, I said row ID. I mean to say row number is a Windows function. So you look for that field that is common between them, and you can use that field to actually filter them out. You have row. We'll now split them out into 1 and 2. And once you have that, then you can cleanse the data.
Yeah, I do have like a format, but I'm just thinking if like there's a faster way of doing it. Because on CRM, there's a way we can merge the supporters. But I was just wondering if we can
Yeah, they will
use
probably have
something.
they probably have written some SQL script that does the merge for you behind the scene in CRM. Because those CRM data application you're using, they're actually plugged into Python and SQL Server and all the rest like that. Okay.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking if maybe on SQL, if you could use something that would be making it a bit faster for you to do it instead of going manually and doing that merging.
It's not going to be manual. It's just going to, I'm going to just write the script. The script
Ah,
is just going to do it for me. Yeah. I
oh,
have a situation like that at work right now, and it's just the script that does it for me. Even in, okay, remind me next when I'm teaching you, I'll show you something which I wrote that identified duplicates for me and then eliminated duplicates.
oh, that would be great. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Cheers. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for covering that. So we have like, okay, we've covered the positive index. So I've answered the Constance question. In the next one, we've covered this also. We've covered negative index. So I've got other examples here. We have okay, don't need to cover this. So I'll be talking about length in this case. So the length is for you to capture elements that we have in the list. You use to capture elements in the list. You can use it for also with dictionary, but in this case we'll be working with lists. So let's say, for example, we have our variable in the list called data. We've assigned variable name data here. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 elements in that list with 10 as index 0. Let's say we want to grab negative index, which is the last elements. I want to grab the -3, which is what? 11. So if we run it, can you see? 7 to 11. So in terms of length, let's say we want to grab the length. The length will help us to count the number of elements that we have in that particular list. So in this case, let's say n, let's call it number of element. Oh, sorry, let me put them together, or let me make it Python case sensitive. So let's do this. So we're passing this as length is a function. So there's a code behind the scene doing this, this work. We're passing data, and if we print length here, we can grab, let's do number of elements. If we print that, that will give us what? 9, meaning it's counting all the elements that we have here. If we do that, that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's the number of element there is 9. And this is very, very good when it comes to this is very, very effective when it comes to dealing with a variable columns. Some data, you see them, they come with variable columns. For example, you will see some parts as they're coming in, some will have 10 columns, some will have 9 columns, and they they vary. So how do you deal with that? So you use something like length here to count the number of columns and also to know how to deal with them separately. So it helps you, it makes life more easier. Length is very, very good. You use it a lot also when it comes to data engineering. Is very, very important. Along the way, I'll see if I'll be able to use, if I could use this particular function called length in another way, so that you understand how it's applicable when it comes to ETL. Any question? Any question from anyone? Okay, that's good. Yes. Okay, so I'll give you another example of length here, how you can use this also. In some cases, let's say, for example, we have our data here. Let's say we want to, we pass in the index. In this case is what? 0, 1, 2, 3 index. In index 3, element 4. So if we pass that, we're going to get 40. But let's say we want to use length. We want to use length, number of length, to determine the positioning. We can pass in this case, our L is what? 9, right? So 9 minus 4 is what?
5.
9 minus 4 is 5. So this one we change to what? 5, right? And if we do that, it will give us different position of elements. That's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 60. So in this case, let's say, for example, we pass in 3 here, we have it as 40. And let's say we want to use our length. Our length, number of length, let's pass it here. Number of length minus 4. So that's 9 what? You remember our length is 9. 9 minus 4 is what? 5. And if we run that, it's going to give us what? This. Let's say, for example, we have 3 here. Let's say we are passing 3 here. That's 9 minus 3 is what? 6. And what do you think we are going to get here in this case?
11.
11. It's not 60, because it's, if 9 minus 4 minus 3 is 6, that means it's index 6, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11. If I change this one to 2, 9 minus 2 is what? 7. Index 7, which is what? 13. Does that make sense? So yeah, so yeah, that's good. Oh, okay, so I think I've covered this before, so that's good. I'm not going to cover this again. So we're going to go to slicing now.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. In the last bit that you done, you said -3. My thinking would be that response should be 7. Are we trying to say the position of where the item is, like the 13? Is that what we're looking at in terms of the program you've written here? This
Are you
code
talking
here.
about this?
No, this bit here where you have print data, number of lengths -2.
-2. In this case, it's going to be, the result is 9 minus 2, right? Which is going to give you 7.
7.
Yeah. But I was just wondering why we have a result as 13 instead.
Okay, let's count the position of 7. Index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, I said in Python we don't start with 1.
Okay, so basically it's giving us a position of what the item is. It's not trying to reduce, it's not reducing the number in terms of like, because here we've done number of lengths, we've done 9. So my thinking was that it was saying we're trying to do 9 minus 2, then we should get 7 as a result. That was my thinking. So
No.
basically we're looking at the position of what -2 is based on this. Cool. Okay, cool.
Exactly. Remember, we're using when it comes to getting the element, we are passing index here. So that index, that's what determines whatever result you're getting. not
Oh.
the based on the elements. We are capturing it based on index. So in terms of element, we say first element, right? Second element, third element, up to ninth elements. But in index, we count by zero as the first element, 1 as the second, and that's what we're going to be passing in here to determine the position.
I get you now. Cool. Okay, we're trying to get a position, not okay. Cool, I get it now.
Exactly,
Okay.
based on index. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. So let's continue to slicing now. So slicing, we use slicing in listing in list. So slicing, for example, in slicing, we have something called list begin. In the list, we have begin, end, and step. So we have begin. Begin in this case could be 10. It's already 10 here from the SOM slicing underscore list. We have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So let's say we want to grab begin there. If we run this code now, begin is this, right? Let's say we are setting our begin as 0. Then we say end as 50. So when it comes to slicing, there is something very interesting about slicing is that whoever you use as end will not appear in that list, in the new list that you're creating. And we'll see an example in a few minutes. So let's say, for example, we have this, let's say print this, we have the list, type, this is type list. So this is our type a list. So let's say we want to grab, let's say 0, and we want to grab 4. Now you see what I'm talking about. Here, when I said start, I'm using the begin and end now. I've not used step. So I'm using begin. Can you see? Column, end, begin, end. The begin, we start from the index 0, which is the first one, which is 10. Then the end one is 4, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 4 should be what? 50, right? Well, one thing is that when you're using begin, end, 50 will not appear to stop at 40. Does that make sense? So if I change this one to 5, which is 60, this one will be 50. It will stop at 50. If I change this one to 6, which is going to capture 70 normally, then it will stop at 60. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now you see, so we have tried in this case now, like I said,
Please, I'll run over that again. It's not clear.
Okay, let's say, for example, we have in slicing, we want to grab the position of the elements in the list. We want to grab, let's say, for example, now we have, let's say you are filling information in maybe application, you will see they will say age range from 10 to 20, 30 to 40, 50 to 60. In this case, we want to select a range, so we can use slicing. So slicing is begin. Where do you want it to begin from? Pass it in. In this case, begin, start from index what? 0. Stop at index 6. But when you are in slicing, when you stop at index 6, it will not be captured in the data. So any index you are stopping at, that's end. When you are using end, that data will not appear.
Okay, got you.
Did you get that now?
Yes,
Please take note of that so that you don't get confused, because sometimes people get, they mix things up when it comes to this area. So it will not appear. So for example, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Let me pass in 8 here. Let's see what we have. Do you have, what do you have there? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 7, but because I use 8, it's able to capture what? 7. If I pass in 7 here, it's going to delete 80.
Yeah.
Because the last position here, according to index, is 7. But because I'm doing outside, if I pass in 8, it's going to capture that for me. So now, does that make sense? But instead of you doing that, it's better you do this. If you want to capture everything, you just do index from the beginning, anything after. You should grab it.
A bit weird, because I would think that in terms of the positioning, we're looking at this should be 0, isn't it? 10 is 0. So do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But
That's
you
right.
using this what you're doing now,
Yeah.
it tends to like defeat like that purpose, like what it was initially. It seems to be like different from, I don't know. It's like it's not making sense in my brain.
I know. Okay, okay. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's go back.
That-
I know, Python is a very, very, very tricky something, to be honest. I know it can be a bit that's why you have to be dynamic when it comes to your approach, because you must not be static in
Yeah.
way you see things. It's like I always tell people that 1 + 1 can be in binary, can be what, 10, right? In mathematics, which is still binary is part of mathematics, is 2. In psychology, it could be 1 million. 1 + 1 can be 1 million. So it depends on the approach. So you have to think beyond the way you see things. So in this case, just go with the rule. The rule is, in slicing, go with begin, end, and step. Begin, end. And where it ends is not going to capture that data. That's the rule. If it's going to end here, it's not going to capture that elements, that index, the elements between that, within that, as in the element for that particular index is not going to be captured. Just have it in mind.
It's sliced off.
Yeah, it's going to take it off. So, but
Okay.
so let's say, look at this one now. This is 0. This is 0, 1. Let me pass in 1 here. You see what is going to happen. What do you think will happen if I pass in 1 here?
Get 10 and 20.
It's going to what?
You get 10 and 20.
You
It's
will not
only
get
be
20.
10.
It's going to be 10.
Oh, DL. Sorry.
Did you see what I'm saying now? Because where it ends is not going to capture that. If I change this one to 2 now, 0, 1, 2 is 30, right? It's not going to count 30. It's going to
Yes.
count only this.
10 and 20.
Does that make sense now?
No, sorry, but never mind. I would think I'll just go through it again. My brain is not working properly right now.
Oh, don't worry. It's going to pick off. Yeah. So now let's continue. So look at this one. I said, grab from, instead of putting 0, grab anything from the beginning of the index up to 5, but it's not going to include that 5, index 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is 60, right? It's not going to include it. So you should be expecting this. So in a way, you could add, how I added 0 here, you can decide to remove 0, and it's going to give you the same result. If you pass in 0 here or no 0, it will recognize that it's starting with 0. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Begin with 0 and end. It's going to follow it. It's going to follow the steps. So sometimes you see some people write a code here. It's trying to tell you that 0 is here by default, right? 0 is here by default. Start with the first index and grab it up to this, but don't pick the head index here. So you see they use it a lot in your code. You'll be wondering, now what's this? So that's how it works. So if I do this, so either I use 0, column 2, begin and end, is the same thing as using empty column and 2. They do the same thing. So they are all the same. And I've shown you an example here. Can you see? They're giving the same results. So by default, instead of using 0, you can just remove the 0 in the beginning.
Does that mean that when it comes to slicing, then the position in terms of like the 0 stats doesn't work that way anymore when it comes to slicing?
Or it depends.
Based on this.
Yeah, if you look at the something, you see
The
begin
logic.
column first, another column. So you follow it. If you follow here, that means for you to have this column, it starts with something by
Cool.
default, which is 0.
Okay, cool. I get it now.
Yeah. So now let's go to the other part, which is step. Step is like let's say you are climbing staircase. You can decide to go through staircase one after the other, first step, second step, and you can decide to jump a step and move to the next one, right? So it's like you're moving from, let's say you want to count something, you can move from odd numbers or even numbers. You can move from 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You can decide to move from 1, 3, 5, 7. That's step, right? The same thing is applicable to this when it comes to step. So step is that you are taking, let's say for example, we've given an example of this, which we know that the new elements in that list will be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Let's say we want to take one step. One step, what do you think our results will be?
10, 30, 50.
Okay, any other opinion? Any objection to that? The answer is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Still the same answer. Let's check it. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Why? Because we are not taking any step. Remember, I mentioned like you are doing 0, 1, 2, 3. It's like you are still following the same trend. But if I say 0, 2, 4, I'm skipping by 2, right? So if I change this one to 2 now, then you see what is going to happen. It's going to be 10, 30, 50, because I'm skipping. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm skipping this. I'm skipping this. 2 steps like this. Okay. Paint. So in terms of skipping, this is what I'm trying to say. I was trying to explain paint. So let's say, okay. Let's say we have 1, right? We have 2, we have 3. So we have 4 here. And we have 0 here. If I want to follow 2 steps, based on what I showed you there, it's going to be like this, right? Then to like this. Does that make sense? So it's going to give me 0, 2, and 4. That's how it works. So, but if I say 1, when I pass in 1, this is in the situation where if I use 2. But if I pass in 1, I'm trying to say I'm repeating the same thing because I'm not changing anything. I'm just taking one step, one step, one step, one step, one step. Does that make sense? And that was how we got when we use 1 here. And we got this one back. But if I pass in 2, I'm taking 2 steps. Is that clear? Should I go back?
10, 30, 50.
10, 30, 50. So in this case now, let me describe, I think make it more better. 1 second. Okay. Let's do it this way. Let me clear this so that you understand clearly. Clear where you okay. Let me do another one. Okay. Let's say in this case we have 10, right? We have 10, 20, we have 30, we have 40, and we have 50. So if you look at this critically, you will notice that if we are using 2 steps, right? Taking 2 steps, that means we are jumping 1, 2, right? 1, 2. Can you see that? 1, 2, 2 step. 1, 2. So in that case, 2 will give us 10. When it gets to 2, it's going to be 30. Then 1, 2, 50. Does that make sense? And that's how we arrive at what? 10, 30, 50. So let's say we are taking 3 steps now. 3 steps. Let's see what's going to happen for 3 steps. If it's 3 steps, let's see, you will see the result. 1, 2, 3. It's going to stop here. 1, 2, 3. That's 40. And let's try it. So our answer should be 10 and 40.
40.
And if you try that, let's pass in 3 here and let's see what our result. If we pass it here, what did you see?
1040.
Does that make sense now? This is clear.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Let me go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that's how it works. So if we go on, Now I've shown you this, then let's go on with this. Now we have, this is very interesting. I love this. Look at this. We're starting with index what? Begin with what? Index what? 2. What do we have as index 2 here? 0, 1, 2. Am I correct? Index 2 was okay. This is our initial stuff. Let's go back here. But this one
It's 30.
So let's do. So we're using this. Don't forget, index 2 is what? 30, right?
Yes.
So 30, then column, then end with what?
Negative.
And what is the negative?
80.
80. You remember the last index. Is it going to appear, yes or no?
It won't appear because you're slicing it. It will stop at 70.
It will stop at 70. So what are we going to grab? We're going to grab, we should be grabbing what? From 30, 0, 1, 2. We should be grabbing from 30 to what? 70. Let's
70.
see. Can you see? 30 to what? 70.
70.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, brilliant. So, okay, so slicing, we can
You guys are doing you're doing my head in right now because I'm a bit confused again. 1 minute, yeah, we did say that we had 9 in terms of when we're doing the length. We had 9. So we'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that was the understanding. So my logic in my brain was that when it comes to slicing, we're not doing 0. We're not counting the first one as 0. But now we've done it again and it's changed.
I know. Why it's changing is that, remember, in this case, we are now using negative index. We are not following positive index. What we've been doing so far, we've been covering positive, 5, oh my, this 5. So in this case now, we're changing it completely. We say we apply negative index. And negative index is that pick the last one. Remember, in this case, we can decide to say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can pass in 7 here. It's the same thing. It's going to give us same result. Can you see? But we are now saying, okay, instead of using positive index, which makes this one position index 7, right? Let's use negative. To grab that last one, we can pass in -1, which is the negative, to catch the last index in the list. Remember when I explained this, last index, when to use positive or negative. So in this case, we can use positive, you can use negative, but it looks like negative is very, very effective. Is that clear? So I will advise you just go, maybe check on YouTube, check how to use positive index, how to use negative index. That will make things more easier for you. But I'm very sure this class is, if you're not, we're trying to cover a lot, but please just try and grab some maybe information via YouTube or any other platform, see how they explain things, and then, match it up with whatever we're covering here. But I'm very, very sure you'll be okay. Okay. Now, let's go on. So we have range. We have range. So we've covered slicing, we've covered a lot. Range, you can use range a lot. I use the range a lot. Sometimes if I want to look through columns, I use range. I use range a lot. So
I'm sorry, I have a question. Hello? I have a question. Yeah. I have a question. I'm looking at line 111.
Oh, yes.
Some sliding list -1 is bringing out 80.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought you said it doesn't bring out the last one.
No. In this level, this
okay,
one is
okay.
just,
okay, this is just listing the
we're not using slicing here.
Okay.
If you're using slicing, then I'll pass in this.
Okay, understand.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that's how it works. Any question again, so that we can continue and cover a lot? Okay, let's go on. Now, range. For range, you can use it to capture from 0 to, I use this a lot also. So range, for range, you can use it to, print. I'm coming. Seconds. Let's say, for example, we have okay, this is the range here. List of range. Okay. So let's say we have, this is range. So we can do a length of range for 10. The meaning of what we have here, let me do list now. Let me do list of range so that you can understand. Can you see the list of range? So range helps you to start, get data from, let's say, for example, we are passing in 10 now. 10 means elements in that list is 10. So, but it starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And if you count it, elements 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But if you look at it critically, you see it looks like it's an arrangement of index, right? So a lot of times we can use this one to loop through data. You understand? We can use it to loop through data in terms of columns or lists. So this will help us to, like, you can do for, for data in list of range this, and it can help you to loop through things one after the other. Let's say you have 1 million records. So I've used it in my ETL transformation before. I had like columns ranging from 999, I think 999 columns, and I wanted to grab all the data. It's not possible for me to be reading one after the other. So I used range in that case. I used range, and within that range, I tried to take the even range and the odd. I separated them to generate data. So it requires you to think logically, in a logical way. So in this case now, you want to grab one element in the column, you can just do for this, and grab them one after the other. So that's how it works. So list, so this is an example. Let's say list 5. If I pass in 5 here, it's going to give me 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Print, that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you see? You can do that. So let's say I want to delete some data here. Let's say from 2 to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me say to 5. I'll use 5 so that I can delete the last one. Or let me do 4 so that I can delete from here. So let's delete this. Let's print our here. A is 0, 1, what? 4. 0, 1, 4. So it's not deleting the last one, but it's deleting what? 2 and 3. Because if it's starting from 2, right? 0, 1, 2, index 2, column 4. Remember, in case of slicing, it will not pick the last one, right? So it's going to delete these 2, and we are left with what? 0, 1, and 4. Does that make sense?
Come again, sir, for this last one.
Okay. Let me do this. If you look at this, oops, let me run this again. Let me run this again, run this again, run this again. Can you see the result here? So it's deleting 0, 1. Okay, 0, 1. Yes, that's correct. If you see here, I put delete from index 2 upward. 0, 1, 2, 2, right? Upward. That's the meaning, right?
Okay.
If I say delete from index 3 upward,
Yeah,
let me, did you get that now? So
yeah,
index 3 upward.
0, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, let me do 7 here.
If
I do 7 here, you see? So I'll say delete from index, let me do 4 so that you can see. Index 4 upward. Let's see the result. Can you see 0, 1, 2, 3? Anything from 4, index 4 is gone. 0, 1, 2, 3, right? 4, this is index 4 upward.
Okay.
No element 4, this is the fourth element. By index, don't forget 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 upward. If I change this one to 3 now, let's run this. Index 3 upward, can you see? 0, 1, 2, 3, delete all this. If I change this one, index 5, let's run it again. 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 upward. This one should go, and we should be left with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you see? So if I can say index 5 and 6, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's say I'm changing this one to 8. This one is 8, and 8 should give us 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So if I say index 5 and 6, this should go. Index 5 only should go. Because don't forget, index 6 is not included here. Remember the head. When you are doing the head, it's not going to capture this. So let's see the result. So I should be expecting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and what? 6, 7. Does that make sense? Let's try it. Am I correct? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, what? 7. Because in index, when I remember I told you that where it ends, it will not be counted. The end part will not be counted when you are doing slicing. I've covered this several times here. I covered it here.
Yes.
Yeah. So the same thing is applicable when it comes to deleting also. Does that make sense? Any question? Okay.
So
Yes,
this
sir.
5:6 means delete 5, delete from 5, return 5, or what? How can I
Index 5.
interpret it?
Index 5.
And
end at index 6. But don't forget, when it's
Okay.
ending, it's not going to grab index 6 from the explanation I gave.
Okay.
Yes, but 5 is missing.
Sorry?
5 is missing. 5 is not there.
Yeah, it's deleted because we said del. We pass in del.
Okay.
Delete.
Okay.
If I do delete from index 7 now, you see it's going to be different. 6 is gone. 6 will be gone in a minute, you see.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
4,
5,
5.
6, 7. Delete up to this is gone. Okay, let me run it again. Okay, so now, does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go on. Then we have, please, I will advise you just try this one. This one is not also similar to end. So instead of doing range 0, starting from 0, you can decide to put where you want the range to start. If I want to put 2 here, the range is going to start from 2 here, right? Up to what? 19. If I pass it 3 here, the range is going to start from 3 to 19, right? 19, right? That's it. And you see, remember, begin, end, and what? Step. Begin, end, and step. If I pass in this one now, let's say I'm using 320 here, the same 320 here that you're familiar with. So I want somebody to tell me the result. If we pass in 3 and 20 here and we're getting a list from 3 to 19, what do you think we're going to have here if we are using step 3?
3,
3,
5,
6.
1. Okay, let's say 1, 2, 3. 3 what? 6. Okay.
9.
1, 2, 3.
9.
9.
9.
Yes.
12.
12.
12.
Yes.
15.
15. Good.
18.
18. And what again? That's all.
That's
Good.
it.
Let's see the results. Brilliant. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15,
9,
18.
12, 18.
Yeah, I have a brilliant class now. Thank you. Yes, so that's good. Can you see? That's how it works. Slicing, begin, end, and what? Step. Begin, end, and step. You'll be using all these in your data, but I can assure you, you'll be using this. Hopefully, let me see if I could see an example to you to explain the range aspect. I will be able to, I will explain that. So we've covered a lot here. And now, let's do, what should we cover next? Just example. We have fruit. In the list, we have orange, apple, pear, banana, kiwi, orange, banana. And let's say we want to print this. Type, the passing type is a list. That means this is a list. If you have it as tuple, it will tell you is a tuple, right? I will be explaining that also. Let's see. Can you see? It's saying it's a tuple. So that is a sign, but I will get to tuple, then you understand. So list, whenever you see this square bracket, is what? A list. So this is a list now. So we're trying to count banana. How many times banana is appearing here?
2 times.
How many?
2 times.
2
2
times.
times.
So we pass in the function called count. If you do that, that's 2 times, right? How many
Yes.
times
Yes, sir.
kiwi is count is appearing?
1.
Once.
1, 1.
Okay, let's assume that we are repeating it. Okay, let's run this again. Let's do how many times now do you think it's going to appear?
Kiwi 3 times.
3 times is up
Three
has
times.
been uploaded. Yeah. So for count orange, you do this. You can use this a lot in your data to do some counting and get some values, which you can use to create like a CSV file, you know, and the rest. So yeah, so we have index. So we want to get the index from this, from banana. Anything after 4, index after 4 is saying indexing. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's saying here, we're saying, please check whenever you see banana starting from
4.
4. But in this case, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is here, right? And which one is what? Only 8.
8.
Okay, let's see if we pass into check index position of banana starting from 2. So it's checking what? It's figuring out the first one. Can you see? It can see it starting from 2. So 0, 1, 2, and it can see this banana is saying it's index what?
3.
3.
So yeah, so that's it. And we can reverse what we have in the list. In our list, we can reverse this. We have orange this, we can turn it around if we want. Let's do that. Let me copy what we have here already so that we can see something is changing. So let's say, for example, you know why I'm putting this one? I'm just commenting it out so that it will not affect the code, so that we can see it. So most of the time you'll be doing this in your code. You write a statement, put hash there so that people can see what you're trying to do. So now, if I run this one now, I run fruit. Can you see banana, orange, kiwi, kiwi, kiwi? Banana, orange from the back. Kiwi, kiwi, kiwi. Banana, pear, apple, orange as the last one. So we've reversed it. Exactly. Thank you so much. So we've done that. And we have fruits here also. Okay, we have it listed here. So let's say we want to create a new fruit. We have an existing list, but we want to create another list, or we want to add to an existing list. How do we do that? Let's say this is our list, orange, apple, this.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So we have another fruit that we want to add to that list. We have avocado, strawberry,
mango,
cherry, guava. I call this one Somango. I don't know.
Mango.
SOM mango. Yeah, okay. We have SOM 19 mango. Okay, that's good. Now let's run this. So I was talking about automating process the other time. So we want to add, let's say for example, we want to add this to this existing list that we have. So I've created this now. I can loop through it. I'll just say for F, like the other time I say for constants, right? So I can use for constants again if I want. It's just trying to loop, use it to loop for this in this. Append. So fruit dot append. So do we have fruit? You remember our fruits?
Please, can I stop you there, please?
Okay.
Could you explain what that F means?
This one. There's something called for loop. For loop is like, how many people are here in the class? We are 29, right?
Yeah.
So instead of me mentioning your name, I can grab your name and just read it immediately. One after the other. I'll just, you understand? That is what for loop is doing. It's trying to read everything at the same time as fast as possible. Instead of saying, when you see this, when you see avocado, add it to the list.
Do you mean formatted strings?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Do they call it formatted strings?
No, I won't say formatter. It's for, they call it looping, for loop.
For loop, L-O-O-P.
Exactly, F-O-L, loop. There's something called while loop, we have for loop in Python.
So this is not formatted strings then?
No, for loop. Can you see? For loop in Python. Can you see example here? This is even for dictionary. This is for dictionary. I think we will cover
loop through a dictionary. Okay.
Yeah, for loop. Can you see the for loop? If you go through it, can you see what we are doing? If you go to W3 school, it will show you the same thing. Apple, banana, this, for this is this, and it's going to list all of them. Is that okay?
I think basically it's like giving it a name to identify the variable.
Thank you. Thank you. I love that word, to identify elements in the list. So you are trying to identify them one after the other. For F in fruit, that means for avocado in this list, for strawberry in this list, for mango in this list. So we are calling all those elements F one after the other when you are checking them one after the other. For cherry, instead of saying for cherry, we are just saying for F. So F means it's going through them one after the other for this, for this, for this, for this, and for this. So when it sees that, then print, then append. What we're trying to say is that when you see this one, please append it to existing fruit. When you see this one, please append it to existing fruit. When you see this one, this append it to existing fruit. Does that make sense? So,
okay.
So when we run this one now, when we run it, you see our results. Now, can you see our results? It's been added. So existing food has got orange, apple, pear, this, banana, but we now have avocado added. Now you can see avocado, strawberry, this, right? Does that make sense? So if we go here, new list.
Sir.
Yeah.
Why do you have here is list? You have to put that there.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Sorry, my screen.
I didn't hear you. Can you repeat yourself?
So why do you say print bracket F here is list?
Oh, brilliant. I love that question. That's very, 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 very good. The reason why I added that was for you to understand what is happening. You know, I was telling you the other time, saying for avocado in this, and this is what this one is doing. Does that make sense? So let me show you now. Let me say for F, you will see what I'm saying. For F in let me call it new fruits. I'm calling it because it's a string, so I'm not going to call it new fruits. You will see what I'm saying. So what is happening behind the scene? So that's why it's for you to read it to understand what is happening behind the scene. Can you see?
Yes.
For avocado in new fruit. You know, I was saying it the other time.
Yes.
So now I'm trying to show you as a statement that what this F is doing here. Can you see? For avocado in new fruits, for strawberry in new fruits, for mango in new. So this statement helps you to understand what is happening in the code. So it's very, very important for you to add like a print statement. You map it this way in your data so that it helps you to debug issues. Like if code is failing, it will help you to fix it easily when you put something like this. So when I was explaining to the other person the other time, avocado in new fruit, so this will help me to clarify that better. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you. Okay, so let's go on. Now we've got our new list. Let's say we want to add SOM apple to that list. We can do fruit.append SOM apple, and when we run that, we have SOM apple added. So we have existing list. We are adding another list to an existing list. Does that make sense now?
Okay.
Is that
Yes,
clear?
sir. Sir, that append, does it come with the app or we must put it?
Append, you have to, in Python, naturally, when you are doing Python, append is a function entirely. It's a separate function that is trying to do your transformation. It's a code, but we don't need to understand what is happening behind the scene when it comes to this. Just use it, pass it in as append, just like we're doing list. You don't know what You remember we used list at a point,
Yeah.
but something is happening behind the scene, but which you cannot see. But don't bother yourself about that. Just understand what they are doing and use it. Good.
Okay, sir. Sorry. Where you put before, oh, I can't even scroll up. Where you try to display the fruits, can you actually use the command head, like print head, like checking head and tail of a data? Like, can you use head, like checking print head before you now add the append? Will it work?
I didn't get you clearly.
Normally, if there's a data set you're working with, which has a list of fruits, how many of them, their categories and all that. Now, if you want to check the head of that data set, maybe the first 10.
You mean if I want to use .ed like this, right?
Yes. After typing the head, can you actually add?
I don't know. Are you talking about, okay. In this case, don't let us use ed here. I don't think it's applicable in this case. I understand
Yeah.
what you're saying. Is when you are doing pandas data frame, I understand. Yeah, when you are now getting the data in form of in structure, like you transform it and you have it in pandas, you can use all those ed, you can use those stuff, and it will work perfectly.
It's all right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So the sort, what it does is that by default, it sorts things in ascending order. So here by default, but you can set it to do ascending or descending if you want. You can set it to do ascending or descending. So in this case, we are doing sorts. And can you see it's doing ascending? Is that clear? It's doing ascending. So in the ascending, we have AA is grouping them by alphabets. A banana, cherry, guava, kiwi, mango.
Alphabetically.
Exactly, in alphabetical order. That's what is happening. The last one is S, can you see? And that's it. So that's how it works. So we're going to go to other part, which is tuple. I'm not going to cover array. We don't need that for now. We don't need to complicate things for ourselves. We're going to have like 5 minutes break. We finish 3:30 today, so that we can cover a lot. Is that okay? Can we have 5 minutes break?
Yes, sir. Can I ask one question?
Okay.
So you see, when we learn all of these, are there any certification we can do to like help us make our CV more attractive and to show that we are skilled on this?
Yeah, there's a certification, but are you a starter? Are you just learning?
Yes.
Oh, please, I won't advise you to go for certification now. Just keep practicing.
Okay.
Yeah, please keep practicing and so that you can be better before you go for any certification. Ready? Now, tuple, I'm going to cover tuple now. Tuple it looks a bit different from list. They're similar. If you look at the bracket, we have one square bracket and we have this one. And if you look at tuple, it's completely similar to, like I said, to similar to lists. The difference between the two is that tuples are immutable. Immutable in the sense that you cannot remove from tuple. You cannot add when it's tuple. For you to deal with that, this question is they do ask it during interview. Interviews, please take note of that. It's very, very important. So the only way you could maybe modify what we have in tuple is to convert it to a list, then do the appending, deleting, everything, then convert it back to tuple. And that's how it works. So tuples uses parentheses, and list, lists use square brackets, and that's how it works for the two. So this is the parenthesis here. And here we have in our tuple, we have these, the elements also. We have, we want to check the type. Wherever we have created there, check it tuple one with variable name, it will tell you what it represents as a class tuple. So remember I told you we have a code working behind the scene doing this transformation, which we are not really interested in. So then we have I'm creating a list. I'm converting this tuple now to list. Then I pass it the name list. Then from there, oops. Okay, tuple this list. Good. Now, can you see? If you check this one back, you see it's turned to a list now. With what? Square brackets from what? Parentheses. So we've converted this one, and this one we can check the type as what? List. In this case, we can modify, delete, remove, add, do whatever thing we want to do. We can play around wherever we the data, the elements in the list. So converting tuple to list, which I've covered, I've shown you an example there. Another example is here. Tuple to list. Pass it. There you see it's turned to list from this parentheses to list. And here from the list, you can change the elements in the list. The second element here is what? 2, right? 0, 1, which is the second, sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Second element is what? 2. We want to replace this 2 by 10. Play around it. Let's try again. And we can see, we can print that. If we print this one out, let's do print. You will see that 2 is gone, it's been replaced by what? 10. But you can't do it directly if you are working with tuple. Only if you convert it to what? A what? A list. Is that clear?
No, sir, you're going to take that again, sir.
Okay. You know, there's no difference between tuple and list. The only thing is that one has got parentheses, one has got square brackets. And another one is immutable, while the other one is mutable. Immutable and mutable means this tuple, you cannot delete from it directly. Does that make sense? You cannot delete.
Yes, sir.
In as much as you see this sign, you cannot delete from it. The only way to delete from it is to convert it to list. The list that we have treated. You know, in list, we are doing appending, deleting. I showed you all those stuff. Reverse. So in tuple, for you to work on tuples, you need to convert it to list. Then you can edit. You can play around the what? Data. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Please, sir, I have a question. Why do we use tuple since we can't modify, we can't make any changes with that?
It depends on the data you are dealing with.
Okay.
I can't say there is a specific reason why we use tuples rather. If your data has come in tuple format, you just have to deal with it. If your data comes as dictionary, you deal with it. You understand? So why do we use it is based on the format of your data. So if your data is in tuple format, you find a way to transform it, convert it to a list, play around it and do your transformation. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Then we have, so I won't cover much here because most of the things that we cover in a list, they're also applicable to tuple. So that's tuple for you. Then we have dictionary. What's the time? We have 7 minutes more. We have dictionary. So dictionary, if you see dictionary, it's in key and value. Dictionary is in key and value. You've seen something similar to this, but you don't know that. Maybe, so for those that are just getting into the world of data, you might have seen this before, but you wouldn't have maybe recognized it. If you see your CSV file, let me see if I have an example here. Let's see. Yeah, I think at the point I use this data. Yeah, I'll be using this data for you. Let me do insert row. Let's say this is a county. This is ID. This is ID. So this is ID. Okay. So we have, this is let's say adults. This is
Sir, your voice is fading.
oh, it's fading.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me clearly, everyone?
Better now.
Ah, okay.
Very better.
Okay. So let's say adults, we have middle age. Thank you. Middle age. We have, oops. We have middle age. We have, let's say this one is teens. Then we have elderly. Now look at this. Look at this. If you see here, let me just make it bold so that it would look different. You know, we've been talking about columns the other time. Let's say this is the columns of our data. These are the columns. Now, county, ID, adult, this. This is what the values under. These are the values. These are the values, right? These are the values. These are the values. So in the case of dictionary, this is an example of how dictionary works. If you look at this data, is in key and value. Key, what's the key? The column is the county, right? County, right? The value is what? Darlington, County Durham, Hartlepool, Middlesbrough, Northumberland, Redcar, Cleveland, Gateshead. You know, we've got everything listed here, including IDs and adults. Can you see? So key and values, key and values, key and values, key and values. So if I go back here, Jack, so I can do county, right? And Darlington as the value. Here, what did I use? Adults. And I can use 4139 as what? As the value. That's it, key and value. So if I run this one now, oops. Anything what happened here?
That should be country.
Sorry?
Adult is not the spelling for adults.
I think country, maybe country and adult, or I don't know.
Yes. From
Have we
here,
given the value? Maybe.
it's correct. Yeah. Adult 20917. 20917. Let me just use the 20917. Darlington, yeah, which is correct. So it's correct, right? Because of the string here. So if we go here and we do type tel underscore Oduro, I think I used somebody's name there. Let me do SOM 19 here, SOM 19 here. Let me do type. Oops. Type is what? Type what? Dictionary. This is type dictionary. So in this dictionary, we can look through it in terms of key and value. You see now. You remember I said the other time, I said key and value, right? Key and value. Now let's have a look. So we can do for key, comma, value in. When you are looping through dictionary, this is how you do it. Just like we loop through the other something. Tell 19, yeah. Let's say print key my column is. I will use that statement. My column is, oops. My column is key. value is value. It's trying to tell me something is missing somewhere. Oh, okay. Oops. What am I missing? Oops. Okay. Okay. Key and this. Why is it giving me error? Oh, okay. Sorry.
There's a
so-
gap. There's a gap between the print and the
Oh, thank you. That's very smart of you. That's it. That's the major reason. Print. Okay. Okay. Let's use this. I've tried this before, so why?
Sorry, I saw something. Yeah. After county, you have full column. After Darlington, you only have comma, not full column. Could that be the reason?
No, it does. No. I think it's okay. It's just okay. Let's do it this way. No worry. Print. Oh. Okay. Incoming. It will tell me the error. This dictated at line 2. Line 2. Oh. No, it can't be like that. That's the problem. There's a mistake somewhere. No. Okay. I'll figure it out now. Strange. Okay. Unterminated string.
I think should be fine now. No.
Valid syntax spell. You forgot a comma. Oh, okay.
What about value
okay.
is value?
I think I've seen it. Comma. Value is what? No, it does not matter.
It doesn't matter.
It
Okay.
doesn't matter. Let me do K and V. So just K. V. Okay, F this. Still can't figure out what happened there. Oh, it's gone. Good. Oops. Okay. For K and V, okay, that makes sense now. Too many unpack. Okay.
Why not check the inverted commas?
1 second.
Inverted commas.
Yeah, I'm coming. Okay, inverted commas. Okay. Okay. I see the problem here. I can see. I've seen the problem now.
Yeah, you should have another one to close it, close the, yeah, I think so, yeah.
No, it's still throwing error. Let's see.
I think that should work.
It won't work. It won't work. There is one error there. You just need to figure out. So it worked here. I think I've seen the problem. So if we go back here, the columns in these, okay.
You don't need a double quote there. Yeah, you don't need. You need a single quote, and you need a double quote before that. If you look at the one below.
Which one, sir?
The one below, the line 4.
It's gone now.
Okay. Yeah.
It's strange. Okay, line 4, line 4, line 4. Okay. Oh, it's saying it's complaining about this one. Okay, let me do. All right, 4K.
I think there's too much gap between the K and the and. There's a gap there.
Wait. No, that one is does not matter.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's strange, but I'll check it. Okay. Okay. That's Scanty. That's perfect. That shouldn't pose any problem. I don't know. Okay. So we have our tuple. Okay, let me just comment this out first. Let me go back to if we run successfully. If that runs oh, now I discovered the problem. Sorry. My bad. Yeah. So what happened here is that I should have passed in dot items. I forgot. Sorry. Dot items. That was the problem. So I was wondering what was the problem. So now that it should be fine now. Can you see? So you can see that our column is Kanti and our value is Darlington. Our column is
adults.
Yeah, the adults, and the value is what? This. So according to what we have here, if you see, Kanti adults. So that's the key and value. So if you are focusing on Excel, let's say we are reading this Excel file and want to read it by key and value, we can use this one to grab the data. Okay, let me see if I can show an example before we run. Oh, okay, let me just show this one as an example. Let me see if I can import that data. Let me see the location of the data. So, 1 second. So that you can see what is happening behind the scene. Download. Let me use. Okay. Now I'm going to load that data now. Upload. Documents. No header. I think it should be data. Okay. Okay. Okay, this is the data now. So let's say we have this data now. So I'm going to show an example here. Let's say example now. Example using CSV file. So let's go to our CSV file now. We have import pandas as PD. Okay, so let's go to, so I'm importing pandas now. So for this one, we can do data frame. I'm just going to use read data now equals to PD dot read CSV underscore CSV. Then what's our file path? File path is this. I copied from there. If I read this data, if I load it, can you see? I can read my data frame. I can do data frame. Can you see my data frame here? This is my data. And here, if I want to read by key and value, I can do for K, comma V in df dot items here in the data. The same thing like what we did here. I can just copy this one. If I copy that, K, the column is K and the value is this. Let's see the results. Is that correct? Can you see? The column is what? Can't see. Am I correct? The column is what? Darlington. Does that make sense? Let's see the data. Let me see. Oh, have I closed it? The column is can't see and the value is what? Here it's saying the value is 0 and it's listing some other stuff, right? So let's see. So that's the key and value. So you're grabbing it. Let's say, for example, I want to grab only key now. Only key. Print key. Print key. Can you see the see the keys? Can you see? Can't see ID that we added the
Yes.
other time. Adult,
Yes.
middle age, teen, elderless. Does that make sense now? From the
Yes.
real data. So I'm trying to use the real data for you to understand that this Excel that we've just uploaded is a form of what? Key and what? Value. So if I want to pass in the value, V, let me read only the value without reading the columns. Can you see all of them? Can you see all of them now?
Yes.
So this is how dictionary is applicable when it comes to data transformation. So can you see is we are dealing with a real data in this case? Any question?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, so good afternoon, sir. Sorry, sir, is there a way, is it possible you share this script?
Sorry?
This exact script that you're using, is it possible we get it at the end of each session so that we can always go back to it and walk through it for the day?
I will try as much as possible today. Yeah, I will get it across today, immediately after the class.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.